Good afternoon, everybody. My name is the Baldy. I like Imperator Rome. There's a bit of a debate going about it right now, whether it's a 6 or a 5 out of 10. I'm leaning towards 6 myself. However, what you're looking at right now... Quibble, stop messaging me. What you're looking at right now is patch 1.00. This is patch Sulla. The reason for that is because my Iron Man game was made incompatible with the release of the free hotfix update Demetrius, patches 1.0.1, I believe. Yes, it is. I'm going to go through the patch notes with you, but before I do that, I'm quickly going to go through how this has gone for me, while Quibble continues to spam me about his motorbike. Mercenaries is a thing I think has been fixed because there's just far too many of them, but we start here. This is sort of the starting area just here for Epirus, and I've expanded them to the entirety of the Greek peninsula. Egypt contests a few of the Greek islands with me. I've got the southern boot of Italy and Sicily. I just fought a war against Carthage with Rome, and they basically stole all the land, and they didn't give me anything. I wanted these little islands. Yes, it's gone well. My main enemy has been Phrygia, and I have beaten them in every war I've fought against them. If you take a look at the live stream clip, about an hour and a half long footage that I put up, you'll see me fight off not only Phrygia, but Sicily, and I believe Thrace as well. So I was at war on all fronts. I managed to win those wars because the game, I'll admit, was very exploitable in patch 1.00, and that's enabled me to do very well. I mean, right now I've got all my maintenance up. I'm making 67. Before that war, I don't think I've opened up any more trade routes with Carthage yet. Diplomatic relations. If I go to Diplo relations... Oh yeah, you'll see that I'm trading with basically everyone, but I was making about 100 gold a tick from trade. I'm not sure why that's not the case anymore. I'd have to fix that. But that was even... I think I might have some mercenary... no, I expanded the army a lot. Anyway, the patch notes are something to behold. Unfortunately, it has invalidated this Iron Man game. I've got a few achievements out of it, but it was just a run to have some fun. And of course... I'm quite happy that I don't have to play this save anymore, because I was eventually going to have to deal with these guys, the Seleucid Empire, who've become a great power. They are very scary. They haven't collapsed. The only reason Phrygia didn't collapse is because I had to fight them off. Anyway, let's go. So, game balance-wise, they've tweaked mercenaries to be less numerous and a bit more spread out, so I'm not going to have just loads of these guys hanging around my capital area. Country capital now has 1 extra building slot. That's nice. Fortifications in capitals are now normal buildings and not something that magically appear. First level is still free. I see. So does that not count as having a fort? I've got a fort here. Oh no! I don't have a fort, but it has a fort. So you actually have to take a slot up with the fortification, I believe. Alright. AI. Fix disloyal generals being overly helpful. I've never actually had a civil war because... Even when I've let people get disloyal, they've been very helpful. Fixed AI, not attacking rebels and barbarians. Fixed reserve objective, behaving rather offensively. Reworked AI reconnaissance. Objective, to patrol on borders rather than around a point. Army and fort maintenance is auto set to normal maintenance on outbreak of war. That's very good, because I did have 1 or 2 situations where I forgot to do that and got my ass kicked by some of the little city-states down here and had to retreat while they basically enslaved a load of my pops. Where are we? Interface-wise, fixed naval combat interface, martial skill icon overlap, fixed top right corner of top bar visual. Yes, so basically a lot of interface fixes. Performance-wise, I've never had any issues with stuttering, but my PC is pretty beefy. So the game just runs really well for me. Really, really well. There's a bit of a screen tear there, I suppose. But I suppose that's because there's just so many fucking units as I zoom into Greece. Added option to run a benchmark. Oh, that's neat. Lots of bug fixes. This is the long part of the video. The game will no longer resend all Diplo messages to the player that have been saved each time the game is loaded. You now get inventions when you get new technology from events, units, or other effects. Ooh. Fixed out asyncs related to Siege and Combat. I only played the one multiplayer game where I played Epirus and Quibble was playing this nation here. tore something, and we got invaded by Macedon. We fought against them. There weren't really any desyncing issues that we had, or any crashes. Fixed wrong type of apostrophe being used in the English version, but I didn't see that. I did see that if the very low thing, if your war exhaustion was high, you'd get very low war enthusiasm, and it will spell LO rather than LOW. Fixed wrong. Barbarians no longer have a tribe in their name. Fixed issues where map icons were showing invalid states. Fixed rare crash if province was no longer owned when trying to build a fort. Fixed rare crash related to events. Saving now happens on a background thread, shows a message, and will pause the game in multiplayer. Disable pause menu interaction when saving. Fixed bug when in some cases a zero navy or army could exist. I've had that bug. Game will now calculate surplus before removing extra trade routes to prevent incorrectly removing a trade route. Can no longer remove disloyal commanders from their armies. Combat dice rolls are between 1 and 6 instead of 0 and 5. Fixed bug where in some cases a zero navy or army could exist. You've already told me about that, Paradox. Fixed case where country name would contain unlocalized text. I have that a lot because people keep wanting to trade with me. Fixed potential crash when returning to lobby. Fixed crash when construction finishes. Permanent province modifiers will no longer be removed on conquest. Stop the Pharaoh's Lighthouse event chain from occasionally concluding prematurely. I've not played over there yet. Updated localization in French, Chinese, Spanish, and Russian. Fixed party conviction being several magnitudes too large when loading an Iron Man saved. Fixed bug where clan chiefs could sometimes have count for more than one. Basically, loads of bug fixes. And the main thing I'm going to go ahead and upvote that on the forums if I can. Am I logged in? I don't think I'm logged in. Anyway, the one thing I wanted to bring up about all of this is that's a free patch, and it's come out pretty quick. So I'm quite happy to see that they're wanting to support this game. The next patch to come out is, I believe, it's going to be a big patch where they actually introduce 2 consoles to Rome. The reason I haven't played over in Rome is because Rome only has 1 console. Right now, it's the Nicolid family? The Nicolid family. What do you mean he's the Nicolid family? I have Nicolids over here. Is that why? What? Anyway, I believe some of my one of my families have gone over there at some point. Anyway, Rome at the moment can only have 1 console, which I'm not too much of a fan of. I much prefer because they're supposed to have 2 according to history, and that's why I've not played over in Rome yet, because they're supposed to have 2 consoles. And if I'm going to play Rome, I want it to be, to be historically accurate. But the game is really fucking fun. Like, really fun. I really enjoy how I can take on people that are much larger than me, and if I position my armies correctly, if I use the right tactics, if I trade for the right resources, even if that resource is no longer available to me. At one point I didn't have iron, but I had a load of like heavy infantry, which was really struggling to fight because it didn't have the reinforcement capabilities, but it was still giving me a nice big boost in combat, which enabled me to defend my little kingdom and eventually spread Epirite influence all over the Mediterranean. I mean, I'm even in Africa, I'm in Crete, I'm in Sicily, I've got these little islands. So Epirite influence is very much spreading. I mean, you've got Epirite over here, Epirite there, Epirite there. So we're spreading. We have, in the north, we have subjugated some tribes. There's Macedonia Secunda, there's Germania. We've subjugated some tribes to help. The rest of everyone has no choice but to trade with me because of how much I have, and it's making me a lot of money. So, a shame that this Iron Man game has to come to an end, but it's been fun. I'm genuinely enjoying the game. Again, right now, about a 6 out of 10. Paradox has a reputation for just mass producing DLCs with this, but so far it's been free updates, and I think the next update is also free. So I'm hoping they continue that trend and only do, because there's a lot in this game, it just needs to be tweaked and given a little bit more depth. Anyway, that's patch 1.01 Demetrius that has just come out. I hope you guys all have fun. And if anyone wants to play a multiplayer game with me, just drop me a message on Steam or comment on this video, because I've been looking for people to play multiplayer with. Anyway, everyone, have yourselves a wonderful day.